41 years old, and I watch golf every day. I don't care about an article. I don't care how somebody feel about me. If you know me personally, and then you know what I'm about. These guys know what I'm about, and that's all that matters.
Simply for being older. To him, basketball remains basketball, regardless of age. Recently, the Los Angeles Lakers played the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Cleveland treated the game as a potentially historic moment. There was significant attention placed on the possibility that this could be LeBron James's final appearance in the arena, especially with Bronny James also on the roster. The Cavaliers organized a pre-game tribute that highlighted LeBron's history with the franchise, and the moment was clearly emotional for him. Following the tribute, the Lakers struggled in the game. LeBron finished with 11 points in 27 minutes, shooting 3 for 10 from the field. While he was efficient from the free throw line, the overall performance did not reflect the significance of the occasion. This contrast between celebration and on-court results stood out to many observers. Interestingly, Bronny James showed a noticeable level of confidence during his minutes on the floor. In a limited sample, he scored 8 points in 8 minutes and made all of his shot attempts, including 2 three-pointers. While the performance did not have a major impact on the outcome of the game, it was one of his more composed appearances so far. This raises a broader question. What should be taken away from moments like this? Historically, LeBron James has often struggled during games tied to major milestones or emotionally charged events. Whether it is record-breaking nights, tribute games, or symbolic appearances, his performances in those moments have sometimes fallen short of expectations. One possible explanation is emotional investment. These events clearly matter to him on a personal level. When emotions run high, it can affect focus and performance, especially for a player who has always relied on mental control as much as physical dominance. Another interpretation is that these moments represent something deeper than just basketball success. For LeBron, legacy, symbolism, and personal validation appear to carry significant weight. Achievements such as breaking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's scoring record or sharing the court with his son are framed as life milestones rather than competitive moments. Winning the game itself may not always be the central focus during these occasions. There is also growing fatigue among some fans regarding the ongoing uncertainty around LeBron's retirement. For several seasons, he has openly stated that he is unsure how long he will continue playing. While its honesty is understandable, the repeated ambiguity has created frustration, particularly when it impacts ticket pricing and fan expectations. Many feel that clarity, either committing to multiple seasons or announcing a clear timeline, would be preferable. During his post-game press conference, LeBron spoke about how meaningful it was for his mother to watch her son and grandson play in the NBA at the same time. This statement sparked additional discussion, especially in light of recent comments made.
I'm 41 years old, so just appreciating the ability to go out there and make winning plays, help my team win, compete for whatever we're competing for that night. If it's a loose ball here, if it's a possession here, or whatever. So even more of a level of appreciation, that's all.
About basketball readiness, it was also about optics, relationships, and legacy. While this does not invalidate the emotional value of the moment, it does complicate how it should be evaluated from a competitive standpoint. LeBron often speaks about these moments as historic accomplishments, but critics argue that they represent influence rather than achievement. Unlike traditional player development stories, this situation reflects the level of power LeBron has accumulated within the league. That power allowed him to create opportunities that would not have existed under normal circumstances. The core issue for critics is not that LeBron used his influence, but that the situation is often presented as something it is not. Instead of being framed honestly as a product of leverage and legacy, it's marketed as a purely inspirational basketball achievement. This disconnect is what fuels ongoing debate. More broadly, this reflects a recurring theme in the LeBron James era, the blurring of lines between competition, branding, and narrative control. Moments are often elevated symbolically, even when the basketball substance does not fully support the narrative. At the end of the day, LeBron James's career is undeniably historic. His longevity, impact, and influence are unmatched in many ways. However, moments like this highlight the tension between legacy building and competitive excellence. As fans and analysts, the question is not whether LeBron's career deserves respect, it clearly does, but whether every moment associated with him needs to be framed as greatness. Honest evaluation allows room for both admiration and criticism. With that said, opinions will continue to vary. Some will view this Cleveland game as a meaningful full-circle moment. Others will see it as another example of spectacle outweighing substance. What do you think? Was this homecoming a fit?
I bet it is, remarkable. I have trouble getting out of bed in the morning and got to get an injection on my knee, and my body is old and broken. It's like that. If you don't use it, you lose it. And once I stopped using it, I've been calling him 41 now since I turned 41 in June. So I still, tomorrow's a day, but he's 41 to me already. It is, remarkable. I have trouble getting out of bed in the morning and
Basketball performance. LeBron James exists at the center of that system. Over 2 decades, he has become more than a player. He is a business entity, a cultural figure, and a decision-maker whose presence shapes organizational priorities. This does not diminish his basketball accomplishments, but it does change how certain moments should be interpreted. When Bronny James was drafted, the move carried symbolic weight far beyond typical second-round selections. Under normal circumstances, a player with limited collegiate experience and developmental readiness would likely spend extended time refining skills in lower-pressure environments. However, the context surrounding Bronny was different. The draft decision was tied to legacy, continuity, and the broader narrative of LeBron's career. This distinction matters because professional sports are ultimately about competitive integrity. When moments are presented as historic basketball achievements, audiences naturally assess them by competitive standards. When those standards do not fully align with reality, skepticism emerges. At the same time, it is important to acknowledge that family narratives have always existed in sports. There have been fathers and sons, brothers and relatives who benefited from familiarity within organizations. What makes this situation unique is the scale of influence involved. LeBron's stature amplifies the conversation in a way few others ever could. This amplification also explains why reactions are so polarized. Supporters see the moment as inspirational, a testament to longevity, perseverance, and generational continuity. Critics see it as evidence of how power can shape outcomes. Both interpretations can coexist, but problems arise when one narrative is presented as the only valid interpretation. The Cleveland homecoming game illustrates this tension clearly. The pre-game tribute was heartfelt and sincere, acknowledging LeBron's role in transforming the franchise and the city's basketball identity. Those contributions are undeniable. However, once the game began, the emotional framing collided with competitive expectations. LeBron's performance that night was modest by his standards. At 41 years old, fluctuations in energy, focus, and physical output are inevitable. Yet, because the event was framed as meaningful and historic, the performance itself became part of the evaluation. The contrast between ceremony and execution stood out. This pattern has appeared before. Milestone games often carry heavy emotional weight for LeBron. These moments ask him to simultaneously perform as an athlete and as a symbol. That dual responsibility can be difficult to balance, especially late in a career when physical recovery is more demanding. In contrast, many past legends are remembered primarily through curated highlights. Their final seasons are often condensed into iconic images rather than full statistical breakdowns. LeBron's career, still unfolding in real time, does not benefit from that historical distance. Every game is documented, debated, and contextualized immediately. This constant visibility shapes perception. It creates an environment where every narrative choice is scrutinized. When LeBron emphasizes emotional milestones, critics question priorities. When he focuses on competition, others argue that he overlooks legacy moments. The expectations surrounding him are unusually complex. Another factor contributing to debate is how leadership is expressed. LeBron has long been a vocal, cerebral leader who directs play, manages tempo, and influences strategy. That approach remains effective in many situations, but it looks different from the relentless physical dominance associated with earlier stages of his career. As players age, leadership naturally evolves. The challenge lies in aligning that evolution with public expectations. Fans often struggle to reconcile the image of peak performance with the realities of longevity. When those realities become visible, narratives shift quickly. The retirement conversation adds another layer. Ongoing uncertainty creates emotional buildup around ordinary games. Fans, arenas, and organizations treat appearances as potential farewells, which intensifies scrutiny. While LeBron has earned the right to decide on his own time,